Money is a function of time. We're talking about hours. M of t equals 50t plus 100. How much does this plumber charge for just showing up? The initial charge. Initial means time equals 0. So money, when time equals 0, is 50 times 0 plus 100. Anything times 0 is 0, and 100 is the amount we have to pay. How much does this plumber charge for working 8 hours? So money is a function of time, and working 8 hours, we have 50t, which is 8, plus 100. 8 times 5 is 40. We add a 0. 400 plus 100 is $500. Now the plumber's goal is to earn $400. So money, which is 400, equals 50t plus 100. This is just algebra. We throw positive 100 over. 400 minus 100 is 300. We cross off a 0. What's 30 divided by 5? We have time equals 6 hours. In the context of this question, the domain is time must be greater than or equals to 0. There's no such thing as negative time. Furthermore, no human being can work indefinitely, but that really depends on the person, so we'll just write this as the domain. Now a different plumber's earning is modeled by y, or E as a function of t, equals 70t. This plumber does not charge a fee for showing up. Notice how there's no plus 100 or plus 50, or there's no constant here. When does E of t surpass M of t? We can use a graphing program such as Desmos to model E of t equals 70t. That's this line here. Whereas the original plumber, M, is modeled over here. We see the point of intersection occurs at time equals 5. So this new plumber begins to make more money after 5 hours. To do this question without a calculator, we set this y value, 70t, equals the other y value, which is 50t plus 100. We subtract 50t from both sides. 70 minus 50 is 20. T equals 100. We divide by 10. So we have 2t equals 10. Thus, t equals 5 is a critical point. And at this point, the new plumber begins to make more money. V of t equals 100 minus 20t models the volume of gas in liters as a function of time in hours. Let's sketch this function and label the axes. So we have the independent variable time, and we have the dependent variable volume in liters. Think of this like y equals minus 20x plus 100. This constant 100 is the y-intercept, so we'll just label this 100 over here. A negative slope, negative 20t, means the graph is going downhill. Now let's interpret the meaning of the intercepts. What is the y-intercept? What is the volume-intercept? This here is the initial volume. So the v-intercept refers to the initial volume. And we find this by setting t equals 0. So v, when time is 0, is 100 minus 20t, or 20 times 0. Anything times 0 is 0, so the initial volume is 100 liters. As for the x-intercept, or the t-intercept, we find this by setting v equals 0. So we have v equals 100 minus 20t. We throw this across. Negative 20t becomes positive 20t equals 100. dividing both sides by 20, we have t equals 5. This is the time, 5, when we run out of volume. We run out of gas in 5 hours. Finally, what's the meaning of slope? The slope here, negative 20, the slope happens to be the rate of change. And we're losing 20 liters per hour. The steeper the slope, it means the faster the rate of change. Let's try this challenge question. What's the domain of this piecewise function here? This graph extends towards the left forever, as well as towards the right. So we're really focusing on this part here, and this part here. So here we see that x does not equals to negative 1, because there's a hole here. Now what about here? There's a hole here at x equals 2, but it's filled in at x equals 2. So actually, the only restriction is x does not equals to negative 1, which implies that all other possible x values are okay. We don't have to write x belongs to real numbers, because that's assumed. So do not write x does not equals to 2. This would be a mistake, because it's actually filled in right here. Now let's focus on the range, the possible y values. Overall, the graph must be below this value here, and the critical value is 4. And there's a hole here, so we say that y is less than 4. Now what about this part here? We might be tempted to say that y does not equals to negative 2 because of this hole. However, when it comes to the y values, the y value, negative 2, is filled in with this point over here. So it would be a mistake to write this. So the only range restriction is y is less than 4. Alternatively, we can write negative infinity all the way to 4, soft bracket.